Hello there, I'm Jaimee. This is the Picture This Show, the show where we explore the possibilities in wearing your imagination. And it is Thursday, which means we're gonna learn about an artist, a new artist. So new to me anyway, and I don't know, I always do a whole bunch of research and I look for something that inspires me and I want to share it with you. And so this week, today, our artist that we're going to be exploring is Xenobia Bailey. And I want to let's dive right in to Zenovia Bailey. Zenovia Bailey is a textile and fabric artist, and she uses a lot of found objects and all kinds of really cool stuff. I want to just show you a couple really cool close-ups, neat mandalas, which I think is just awesome. The use of color is spectacular, and these things are just huge, really big. I have a YouTube video that I want to share with you that I found on Etsy. If you're familiar with the website Etsy.com, actually put this together. So I want to share it with you. It's 3 minutes and 45 seconds. I'm going to run that for you, and then I'll be back and we'll do some inspired design work. All right. So, and there is a link to this video in the notes. So if you want to watch it later, don't want to watch it now, or, follow up again, you'll have it there. Well, let's go ahead and watch it.
I have a cousin who lives in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. She wrote to me the other day and she said, "You have to take a look at the work of this woman, Xenobia Bailey."
When I went to school and I was studying industrial design, as far as my continuum as a designer was concerned, there was a great void. It was hard designing for mainstream, because I didn't want to surrender my principles. Everybody has their own signature aesthetic, and mine is aesthetic of funk. One of my favorite pastimes is thrift stores, and I found this book. This is like a Bible, really. And you see the aesthetic here, the mandala, kind of like what I have. That was the visual icons of that era. These are larger mandalas, but they also serve as color exercises, because you always have, just like, athlete has to exercise, the muscles and everything. An artist has to do different exercises to keep, the craft together. With the aesthetic of funk, it's like you're vibing on the designing. You're vibing with the colors, you're vibing with the lines, you're vibing with the patterns. It's vibration designing. For me, the aesthetic of funk comes from the African American household. The way colors were used, the way that patterns were used together, the way the textures were used together. That was something that came from the aesthetic that my mother used, and probably her mother and the women in my community. When I was little, my mother, she would make flower arrangements from fashion magazine, because fashion magazine has all those different colorful pages, and they would be on the kitchen table. It's a kind of this funky chic, urban household aesthetic that brings that beauty to a home. A lot of things are just made from whatever's found, found objects. Like now, this whole recycle thing, this whole green thing is a new thing, but really, in certain households, that was the way things were done. This is a sculpture piece that's going in the window of the Student Museum of Harlem. This is a real funky sculpture piece or altar, or however you want to apply it. These boxes came from Costco. These flowers here are brown paper bags. This fan is from the grocery store Circulars, because they have all that beautiful print and all the colors and everything. What I did with this is I took trash and I gave it value. This is my message to the community. We can create currency from anything we apply our creativity to. Aesthetic of funk.
Wow. All right. All right. I had my headphones on for that. What did you think of that? I felt so inspired when I saw this. And, I did a whole bunch of research just looking at a bunch of different pieces that the Zenobia has created and looking at her color palettes and where she got her inspiration. She talked about the funk designing, that it's about vibing with the lines and vibing with patterns. And I don't know, I just found a lot of inspiration in that. And so I wanted to experiment today with doing some designing with textiles. And so let me jump over. I have an example. We had experimented a couple years ago in doing we had fabric upholstery swatches. Let me just jump over and show you. We designed this little guy. I'm clicking on the wrong link here. We designed this little guy with that Zia is wearing here with fabric upholstery swatches that I got from Joybird. And I've kept this box of swatches for years. And, it's just like you order the swatch so you can choose what fabric if you're going to order a new sofa or whatever. But they send you this amazing box of swatches, and I was in the market for a sofa, and I was going through all the swatches, and we hang on to stuff like this all the time. And like Zenobia Bailey said, she uses things that she finds or things that she has around. Often it's recycled goods, brown paper bags, newspaper circulars, magazines. Her mother created those flowers from fashion magazines because there was such cool prints, shiny prints and things. Like being creative with what you have around you is such a cool thing. And what I wanted to do today is kind of combine a couple things. So we had tried this sort of, fabric swatch collage a couple years ago. Zia used to love this dress when she was little. But this week we have our shark theme, and I wanted to look at some of Zenobia Bailey's sort of that funk inspired and the mandala inspired work, and just see if I could come up with a shark combine this idea and this inspiration that I get from her with these color palettes using what materials I have around the house. And I put some stuff together, and I'm gonna try like a kid-friendly shark design. So what I have with me today, I have my Picture This Clothing templates. I have my box of Joybird swatches that, again, I've been hanging on to for years. I use little pieces of them all the time. And then for my shark, what I did is I Googled funky shark illustrations, and I put a link to this one that I found in my notes there. But I printed 3 copies of this little shark, and I printed it at 70%, so it was scaled down a little. And I'm not going to use this exact shark. I'm going to sort of make it my own, right? I love to take inspiration. I thought the style was really neat, and I thought it might work really well. So I printed 3 copies of this, and I'll show you why I printed 3 copies in just a minute. I have a glue gun and a blank canvas, and this was one of the canvases I actually got sometimes at art stores like Michael's or Joann's, wherever they sell pre-stretched canvases. Sometimes you can buy the damaged ones. Like this one just has the slightest little damage in it, and you can buy it for like 50 cents or a very significantly discounted rate. Another thing that I used to do when I was an art student is go to like Goodwill or whatever and buy artwork that I didn't like. Sometimes you could find a really cool, a painting in a really cool frame for $5 or something like that. But you could pop out the artwork, and paint over it if you didn't like it. And I don't mean any disrespect to anybody who's done amazing artwork that ends up in a thrift store, but you know, it's just a good and expensive way to do stuff. Or if you have old stuff, you know, in the attic or whatever, you can repurpose a lot of stuff. But anyway, I have this slightly damaged canvas, 50 cents. And so I'm going to use that for today's art, and my glue gun. And I have one of the glue, it's like a 5-foot glue stick. I love whoever invented that, because I don't know if you remember the days of just like inserting the tiny little glue sticks and you have to stay on top of refeeding the glue stick all the time. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that was never any fun. So I found these like 5-foot glue stick ropes. It's like an endless glue stick. Anyway, I'm just gonna try experimenting, and I'll kind of show you. I did a little prep work here. You can see that I have some pieces. What I did with my first printout of the shark, as you can see here, the shark has different colors in him. He's got like a, let's call it a medium blue, a darker blue, a lighter blue, and you can probably pick out some different, you know, if you really want to get detailed. But what I did is I cut out the shark in those pieces. So like this, that was like the dark medium blue. This was the darker blue. And how I did that was when I cut out each piece, so I cut out this one, I cut out his mouth separately because I wanted to be able to try the mouth in a different color and layer the fabric swatch. So with this one, I cut out the little body, I cut out the little mouth, trying to keep the outer shape intact, so that I can glue it onto the back of my fabric swatch, whatever color that I want this to be. And I want my little great white funky shark to be gray, because I want to use a lot of blue in the background, so I want there to be a little bit of contrast. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the piece that I cut out to the back. Now with the fabric swatches, you always have two sides, and they are slightly different. So I have to decide which side I want to be my contrasting gray with these. Let's try it. Let's take a look and see which one gives a little more contrast. That one, or let's try it over here. I really like the texture of this side a little better, and so I'm gonna go like this. So what I'm gonna do, because I want everything to be facing me, sort of like the picture, so I'm gonna glue, this is the back side of the fabric, I'm gonna glue the picture side. So I'll see the back of the picture and the front of the fabric, so like that. And I'm going to glue that on. So I'll just put a little bit of glue. If you're working with little ones, parents, help your little ones with the glue, because even as a parent, I tell you that glue burns sometimes. Oh man. All right, so, and then as quickly as you can, you want to try to kind of anticipate where it's going to go before you set it down, because this one's really going to fill that little tile up. And you want to just glue it just enough, a couple dots on your main corners. And so I glue it and then I cut around it. And you don't need to peel the paper off because it's just going to go back down. And then you end up putting these back together almost like a puzzle. And it's really cool. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. Today's live stream is going to be very streamy, a lot of me not talking and just working. So you can feel free to comment in the comments if you have questions. I'll look up periodically if you want to say hello. I love hellos. And I think I have comments today on. It's hard to say. If you're commenting and I'm not responding, then I'm not seeing comments, and I'll reset them in a minute. But in the meantime, I'm just going to cut. And I follow that shape as closely as I can. Yep. All right. And I'm not going to cut out the mouth on here. I cut out the paper version of the mouth and I glued it on top of a orangey, sort of an orangey red, similar to this. And then I pre-cut some what I think might be teeth. We'll see how that works. I might need to trim that one a little more closely, but I really want to layer up these fabric swatches, but I'm going to leave this one in so that it sits right on top when I layer these things on. All right. Very, very cool. All right. All right, and just finish cutting it. It's okay if you get a little bit of the paper. You just want the basic shape there. And then when you turn it over, you've got that piece of the shark, and then you can see how it's gonna start to fit together, and you've got, I'll probably glue it right on top, kind of like that, so there's a little bit of overlap and layering. And then this one will go on top of that one, but they all fit together pretty nicely. They won't be exact like a puzzle, but really close. And then you'll start to get these different textures. And I think it's always a little harder to see on the camera than it is in real life. The textures look really cool. And I'm gonna save my little shark until after I get sort of a background going. I was really inspired when Zenobia mentioned vibing with lines and patterns and textures and using different textures together. I really wanted to play with that and some nice, you know, bright colors. So I set aside some bright colors, but then I also want to give kind of the impression of water maybe. So I don't know, but then the shark needs the contrast on it too. So I'm really going to play with a bunch of stuff, just kind of explore out loud with you today and see what we end up with. Now, I am not a Zenobia Bailey caliber artist by any means, but you know, she mentioned something in that video that I thought was really, really important. Well, there were a lot of important bits throughout that video, but she said just like an athlete, you know, an athlete has to practice and exercise in order to be good. An artist has to do the same thing. So, you know, I don't expect to be a master at this on my first try, you know, but I'm very inspired by what I see in Zenobia's work. And so I just want to play and experiment and see what happens if, right? That's like my philosophy in life, is just play a little bit and see what happens if you just try something new, try something different, be inspired by the things around you. You know, she talked about a lot of her inspiration comes from where she grew up, how she grew up, the things she saw around her in her household, the things her mother made, the things in her community. And, you know, I think that we're all somehow inspired by everything around us. And so look around you and see what it is that moves you and inspires you. Okay, so see I have my little shark mouth here? So that's gonna go, and then I'm gonna try to layer some teeth on here, but I can see I need to crop my teeth down a little bit in order to make them really work nicely on this crazy orange background. But I think it's gonna work pretty well. All right, look. I think that's cool. I'm gonna trim up the bottom a little. And I tried to give it a really sort of jaggly edge in order to give it the impression of teeth. Keep losing my scissors here. So I'm gonna do, you know, just a little zigzags, and they don't have to be super pronounced. It does not have to be perfect. We're having fun. All right, I'll just try to nip little baby triangles out of there and see what we can come up with. And just make it a little smaller. I keep a trash can right next to me, next to my legs under the table here, and that gives me a place to put a lot of my little particles. If they're big particles though, I moved my trash can. If they're big particles though, they go back in my little box so that I can use them later. And you know, Zenobia talked about vibing with lines and textures and stuff, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try just cutting some shapes out of these. Oh yeah, and all of these little swatches, they come with these the name of the swatch on the back, and I save those little stickers in a pile just in case. You never know if you might need those little white stickers for something. But I peel them off if I'm gonna use them, I stick them in a pile, and then I might be able to reuse those. Maybe those would make great little shark teeth. I can, you know, cut them out and stick them on if my fabric swatch teeth don't work out. So yeah, so I just I'm gonna try some shapes here, like little arcs, because I really loved that sort of circular mandala thing. So that was going on there. All right. Just going to cut some little shapes, and each of these little things that I'm cutting off can somehow be used. I'm working in slivers here, like a cinnamon roll. I'm going to spin it around and just clip pieces off every now and then so that I can layer them in. Being creative and experimenting is such a great sort of therapeutic activity. And just have a little fun, let go of the outcome. Don't worry about if it turns out great or not. You do not have to create a masterpiece every time. You might create 1,000 really not awesome pieces before one that really, really strikes your levels of satisfaction. Many artists are not super satisfied with what they do, and they keep trying and trying and trying. And, a lot of pieces they create may resonate with other people more than they resonate with them, but they keep creating, they keep exercising those skills and their love for expressing themselves and what they love, which I think is phenomenal. Zenobia also said right at the beginning, she said, we all have our own aesthetic, and you always want to be true to who you are. And, often figuring out what that is, like it comes from inside you. And, what you like, what inspires you, you put that out there. Crystal, da-dum. Da-da. It's the Jaws theme, right? Yes. Crystal, it's so great to see you today. I wasn't sure if my comments were working. It's so quiet today, but I know a lot of folks are back to work. A lot of folks are back to school. And so we don't see as many of you as we were seeing in the thick of the summer. And I miss you all, and I love seeing your name pop up. So thank you for helping me know that my comments are back on. So that's awesome. All right, so I've been just cutting these little pieces, and I'll glue them on in a moment. But yeah, we're just gonna stream together. This may run a while, right? It's okay to check out, check back in, see how things are going in a while. All right, and then I have this tiny circle, which I'll put over here, and we'll just see how that goes. I really love the way that looks, though. And let's see what other colors I have kind of buried down here. I think ocean water has all kinds of colors, and so what, the colors will help me give a little contrast between the shark, and if I put them all on blue, because I want the blue to be water, I might lose the shark a little bit in the design. So I want to make sure that I fold in a bunch of other colors. I really liked this one. And here's a really fascinating thing. In real life, this is more of a rose color. It kind of looks tan, I think, on the camera here. Royal Blush, it's called. But on the back side of every piece, sometimes you get a completely different color. So I have a brown on one side. I'll put my sticker over there. And a sort of a rose colored. Very plushy. I love that texture. I'm going to do a few more of these just little strips. I like these color palettes. The color palette of each different little swatch in here. Sometimes they work well together. Sometimes you have to just make it work. Work with what you've got. If you don't have what you need, look around. And that's one of the beautiful things with using like found objects or materials that you have on hand, looking for things that, if you've got a recycle bin, I know we have a recycle bin, and Zia loves to play in the recycle bin, not play in it, but, find materials to use for creative exploration. I think that that's a really cool thing. All right. In a minute, I'll start laying these down. But yeah, I got my little mouth here. Let's see how my little teeth look on top of there. We'll put our little guy up here. And I mentioned these the other day. These are my candy eyes. I love googly eyes and candy eyes. These ones are used in baking. You can find them in your baking section. And they all have different pupils. It's funny. So you might want to look around and see if you find like exactly the correct pupil that you're looking for. Maybe experiment. You want larger pupils or smaller pupils. Oh, or just completely on the wrong side of the eye pupils. So that one's funny. I like that one actually, a little tiny one. But I might go ahead and use something like this on there. And the one on the example, his eyes are a little further apart. But I'll get him glued together after I get a nice texture going here. I want to cut a few more before I start gluing. And, I'm trying to keep, working without Zia, I'm trying to keep the spirit of Zia in today's show. She's getting ready for school to come back, and we're trying to work on our, I let them sleep crazy. They sleep until noon sometimes on the weekdays. I let them do that during the summer. Just take a break, be kids. And so then we have to ease kind of back into a school schedule. So we're going to have distance learning starting up. For our kids here in Vegas, Clark County School Districts, we're going to be starting on August 24th. And so she'll be back to school. So we're just trying to get routines and rhythms locked in before it all starts again. And I'm sure she'll be back to work with me now and then. I think we can actually fold it into her curriculum somehow, but we want to just get the actual school rhythm down first. She's starting 6th grade this year. She's in a magnet program for the arts, which is pretty cool. And yeah, so we want to kind of just, let her get her head around that. It's a new thing, new grade, new time. And so, I really love this one. It's got a lot of neat colors. It's a lighter blue, which is cool. This reminds me of like Bloomingdale's ladies, the suits and things that, I remember going to, there's a mall here called the Fashion Show Mall. It was always like the higher end mall. And I always remember observing some of the fancy ladies that shop at like Saks and stuff like that. And always being really fascinated with the textures of their clothes, of their little like dress suits and stuff. And this reminds me a lot of something I would have seen. Ooh, the backside's really neat too. I like that. Super cool. Crystal says that's my favorite one so far. I really like it too. It's really pretty. I ended up not getting a sofa way back when I was looking at these. And I'm glad now, because now I think when I was looking, I had one cat at the time, Rocky, and then Rocky and Adrian, and then Rocky and Adrian and Arthur, and then Rocky, Adrian, Arthur, and Peepa, and then we added Truman. So yeah, we were 5 cats in, and I think that I'll just hold off on a new couch for a long time for now. And then we added Ernie just a couple weeks ago. Ernie is our puppy. And Ernie was found running through the busy streets outside our office, and we looked everywhere for an owner. We looked all around. We posted signs, and we took him in to see if he had a chip, or he had no collar. There was no chip. All right, I'm going to start layering these down, and glue or not, I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to vibe. I'm going to follow Zenobia's words and just vibe with the lines and the textures, and I'm going to see what I end up with. And, something that I should do. Do I still have? I do still have. I was just thinking it might be cool to completely cover the canvas with a solid color before I do this. I'm not going to do that today because it would take the time to dry, but had I thought about that before, because with Picture This Clothing items, you know, I always say they really turn out the best if you saturate, you know, if you go seam to seam, because you have the ability to, you know, everything that you create here is front, back, seam, seam. And so you may as well take advantage of that entire space, right? So it would be really cool to cover that white. I'm gonna try to layer it up with fabric here and just see what happens. So, and who knows what will happen. And I might use a dot here or there of this glue just to kind of tack things down. One of my least favorite things about using hot glue is those little tiny micro strings of hot glue that end up everywhere. So, yep. Anyway, you can clean those off after though. Not a huge deal. All right, vibing. Crystal says, what 5 cats and a dog? We should do a t-shirt family animal photo. We totally should. Maybe we will do that. You know, I think the last time I did an animal family photo, I just did one of the cats and we just had 2 cats. That's how long ago it's been. And so, yeah, we have, so let me tell you, the color cubes. You know, Tara made a great suggestion. You could like spread some of the solid color cubes in the background to kind of lay down a solid texture, which I love that idea. I'm going to get really ambitious with this and try to actually use little bits and pieces for the whole deal. And so, yes, this might take me a while. I might have to go away and come back. I don't know. I'm told, though, that when you live stream, you're supposed to just live stream. You don't have to be talking the whole time. So I aspire to get good at live streaming. Oh, man. To get good at just maybe being quiet and letting the creative process happen without talking the whole time. I'm terrible at that, but I actually really enjoy the conversation with you all too. It's really fun. Okay, so just vibing. I love that. Okay. This is a lot of fun, I have to say. I'm going to put a circle in here. And I have this circle too that I'm going to cut in half in an interesting sort of way. Boom and boom. I kind of want to have it arced. Little smaller bits here. Be careful with the glue gun. Yeah, I'll start to layer these in a little more closely. Ah, that one got me. Ouch. Glue gun. I love glue guns though. I have to say, like, I grew up, my mom did a lot of crafting when I was growing up. Her and her sister used to make like these really cool photo albums that were very ornate with fabrics and flowers and things like that. And I always loved, you know, watching them just get together and work on these cool craft ideas that they had and make beautiful things. I loved that. I always loved that they would get together and do stuff like that. I don't want this color in there. I'm all picky. I sound like a 4-year-old, huh? I don't like that color. I like the color, just not in the middle, not where I'm working. It's not vibing with my other colors right now. All right, let's get some of this sort of dusty rose color laid out in here. Let's see if it fits. Like we'll kind of fit it in here. And that's a cool thing about the hot glue too, is you can kind of nest these things together. Ooh. I love that. All right, let's see. And again, like in sort of my inner circle of design that I'm making here, I want to have more of the lighter colors. So I'll probably put some of this lighter, like, let's go ahead and cut some of that too, because I want to sprinkle some of that in. I want some of the lighter color in there because I want the shark to be able to show up. Okay, kind of a strange, blocky sort of circle I'm cutting here. Let's see what the backside looks like. Oh, that's really pretty. I like that. All right, let's see. Just gonna pull these apart. Let's see. That's great too, because you've got these little corners that can be filled. And I'm gonna kind of put more of my central focus like kind of inward. Earlier I did this where I kind of cut out my picture of those templates so that I could lay them over. This is a really cool thing that you can do too when you get a finished design. You can lay the different templates over the top, and then you have the same design on different items, clothing items. So you could do a dress and a t-shirt with a similar design. You just have to remember that the dress is more of a vertical shape and the t-shirt is a little more of a horizontal shape. So you want to make sure your design is both wide enough and tall enough to accommodate that. So yeah. All right, this one needs a little more glue down here. All right. So many cool things. Oh, if you could see the glue. I'm going to do a quick glue cleanup here. Yeah. My little trash can. Throw that away. All right. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut for a minute and I'm going to glue for a while here and see what happens. Let's see what unfolds, what magic unfolds. Magic or mayhem, who knows what I'm going to end up with. Always check in the back side just in case. I like that a little better, but this one is kind of the same on both sides, not too different. I don't know about you all, but I kind of miss Zia's insight and her creativity. Hers always turn out better than mine. So we'll have to see how this goes. I do think my little shark will turn out kind of cool. I don't know. But that's where, you know, like using some like patterns and templates and stuff, if you got little ones, it kind of helps give them, you know, something to work with. And then the more you work with stuff that kind of exists, then the more you learn how shapes, you know, the shapes of things that you want to make look, and you get your own creative license, and you start experimenting with your own interpretation and way of doing things. And I always think that that's a really neat evolution. To start somewhere, just start, and then you play with things, and you evolve your own style. But our styles often come, you know, from influence on what we see. And that's one of the reasons I think it's so important to share different artists and different styles, and why we get so excited to share those things with you here on the Picture This Show, because we get excited and inspired, and we want to make things and just see what's possible. Ooh, okay, I like that. So yeah, the more I do this, the more I can kind of, I'm filling in little gaps. And if you are, you know, peeking in on this, and you, you know, don't feel like you have to stick around the whole time. My feelings will not be hurt. You can check out, come back in a little bit, and see how things are going, how that design is evolving, or if it's a disaster. But it's also like when we did the cut and chats last summer, which I would think we're going to bring back pretty soon. The cut and chat was always a lot of fun. And but we just cut, you know, we were cutting the actual customer designs and chatting with you as you pop in and out. And hang on one second. I'm going to do a quick check. I just want to make sure I didn't have any emergencies. When Zia's not here, I worry. She's not sitting by me. Oh man. But yeah. I miss doing the cut and chat, and I know that a lot of you from our community have mentioned that you really miss seeing the cut and chats too. So yeah, I do think we'll bring those back. Especially with school, that's something that we do from the office. We brought everything home with quarantining and all of that. We just we actually had shut our office down for 16 days with the government shutdown here in Nevada, and so we were like, oh, what are we gonna do? And we thought, let's just do some creative activities and keep going, and then we learned that we were able to open back up legally and keep operating since our office is only 3 people. There are only 3 of us, me, Ken, and Wilson, that work in the office. And, Ignacio and Luba and Pavel are all able to work remotely. Iggy comes in the office sometimes. But yeah, everybody who has a computer-based job, like image processing, Pavel develops. He's also a Vegas guy, but he's currently living in Japan, which is super cool. And he'll be back to Vegas. But yeah, it's so cool. So cool that you can, Ignacio does a lot of our design, graphics and stuff. And so, yeah, super cool that way. And then Ken and I do, I don't know, kind of everything. So, oh man. And this stuff, so when I'm in the office, I do cut. It's funny, somebody made the comment one time that they thought that the cut and chats were staged, that it was just something we, kind of faked it. But I was like, no, those are actual customer orders that I'm actually cutting live. And so it was interesting for me to hear that, that there was a thought that maybe those weren't real. Like, they're very real. So yeah. Ooh, I like this light gray. I'm going to cut a few more of these little wisps. Oh, so here's a thing that I just learned. If you're using the long hot glue sticks, don't rest the nose of your hot glue gun in a way that it's going to melt your glue stick. I just did that. I rested the nose right on and it was melting right through. So I caught it before it severed it, but now I have all these little glue strings. Oops. So yeah, that's apparently a thing. And here's, I know you're supposed to be able to prop them up, but these little I get these they're $1.99 at Michael's, these glue guns like this, and they're great. They're low temperature glue gun. Great if you have little ones learning to use a glue gun. Still need supervision, of course, but you can use crayons in them. If you peel the paper off of crayons, parents, you should probably say not without supervision, right? Because it does make a drippy mess, but cover things really well and experiment with that. We did a live stream of that in 2018. So we have those in our video archives on Facebook. But yeah, we did a couple experiments with using the glue gun and some melted crayons, and it turned out pretty neat. I have to say, that's a really cool experimental kind of thing. All right, let's see. I'm gonna start getting some fat pieces here just to fill in some gaps. Slightly fatter. Here's the thing with, if you're doing something a little bigger, like this is a sort of a bigger project, something that might be a little more time consuming with little ones, they lose their patience sometimes. And so, one of the cool things about actually with these templates, I think we did the fabric marker demo, right? A while back where, coloring with fabric markers, it's a super fun and super creative activity. But if you want to get your design seam to seam, front and back, doing that on a physical t-shirt with fabric markers was extraordinarily hard and time consuming. I think it took me about 3 hours, and most little kids don't have the patience for that. And so something like this might keep, depends on your age bracket there with the little ones, but it might keep you busy for a little while. Some kids may be entertained for hours doing something like this, being able to cut their little pieces But if they lose their patience, it's okay to step away, go have a snack, and come back. It's totally okay. And I gotta get my little hot glue bits here. Rolled away. All right. But yeah, I think that's one of the really cool, like, valuable things with doing longer time-consuming designs is that we learn that it's okay if it takes a while, that we can be patient in order to get something beautiful or that we want to have designed. Layering up little pieces of fabric like this is certainly not a fast activity, but it's really soothing in a lot of ways. I'm sliding on my chair here. I'm going to layer that one right in there. And even though these have like a curve to them in many ways, you can sort of stretch out the curve with your hot glue. I think that's neat. All right, I don't want to lose my little sharp pieces, so I'm going to set them over here. His little crazy mouth. I really liked that sort of funky style. Let's see what we have here. Let's put in some bigger pieces again. And while I'm filling in gaps, it's also really nice, like, it's okay to start getting layers on top of each other too. And like Tara suggested, maybe using some of the bigger pieces. I think what I'm going to do is kind of work outward with that concept in mind, but using some of these bigger scrap pieces that I have here and work my way out, and then I can always layer little bits back on top. Let's try that for a little bit. What other colors do we have? Let's get some color in here, some more color. Ooh, wow. There's like a golden one. I don't know about that one. Am I picky? Ooh, here's a really pretty blue one. We've got to fold some of this one in. This is a really neat one. All right, let's do that in some bigger swaths, shall we? All right. First, I'll cut the little corners off. So I have some smooth, rounded edges. That is called Vibe Aquatic. Vibe is like the word of the day today, so I think that seems like a perfect fit, right? Vibe. We're vibing with the fabrics and the textures and the lines. I'm trying to work in sort of a circular way, just, again, kind of inspired. Obviously, I do not have the technical ability of Zenobia. She's been doing it for years. She said that she did her first design when she was 9 years old. The first thing that she kind of remembered as being a standout moment in one of the videos that I watched in kind of learning about her, she was 9 years old. At school, she created a bike. Like, she designed a bike or drew a picture of a bike. And the parent-teacher night happened, and the teacher pulled her mom aside to show her this amazing bike she had designed or created. And in her mind, she was like, wow, this is something magical. And then her mom actually got a bike for her because she drew this picture, this amazing picture of a bike, apparently. And I didn't see the picture of the bike. That wasn't in any of the stuff that I found. But just the part that seemed like magic to her was she drew this picture of a bike, and then her mom got her a bike, and it was like she had manifested this amazingness through her artwork, right? And I just felt like that tied in with Picture This so well. I thought that was such a beautiful, magical moment. It's, the magic of creating something through your imagination and creativity, and then getting to see it in real life. And, I think there's something really beautiful about that. I mean, I think that's kind of everything. I'm trying to get these to sort of layer, but they're not following my mind. So we'll keep moving things around here. Some slightly bigger pieces to kind of fill in some space, which I kind of like. And I'm realizing, like, don't forget, Jaimee, you can go over the top of things, and that's actually when it starts to get really beautiful. Is layering things up And it might end up being like 4 inches thick by the time I'm done, huh? And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I like that. Try to tuck it in a little bit to some of these pieces that are on here. Yeah. Let's cut some more bigger swaths of fabric. Oh, there's my little sticker. And again, you don't always have to peel those stickers off the back, but if you're going to use the back side of the fabric, which I really like, I don't know, I have a hard time deciding sometimes in the back or the front. They're very similar. The back side is almost always really flat, and the top is a lot more textured, but sometimes the back side is really neat, and like the color is slightly different or slightly more what I am going for. I really liked the idea of creating these sort of concentric circles today because I want to have the shark be my focal point. And, you know, we've learned in previous weeks, working with stuff like concentric shapes will often help draw your eye to a certain area. And I think that that's a lot of fun. Ooh, I have this blue velvety dark blue. And there, that's a good example of it. It's like very royal blue. Beautiful, beautiful, and it feels like velvet. And let's see if I can get kind of a nice long arc here. Hold on. I want to cut my corner off. These long oceanic waves in here. Should put some thinner ones kind of swirling in here. Let's see how we do with this semi-swirl. Yeah, like that. Oh, my finger's stuck. All right. Cut this angle off, and I'm going to do another little swirly bit. And just a couple dots of glue to kind of tack down my edges, but I leave a little bit so that I have a place to touch that isn't hot, and then you have to kind of work quickly with hot glue, otherwise you lose your moment very quickly with hot glue, right? All right, ooh, let's put this one over here. Little finger grab places. I'll move these guys out around. Very, very fun. Oops, I did it again. I set my glue right on the glue rope. I guess that's one of the downsides of the long rope, right? That recurring theme. All right, I've got this sort of denim-y blue one I'm going to fold in now. I think, Tara, you were really, I think that was a good suggestion. It's like put the bigger pieces down first. I got really ambitious with all my tiny swatches. And then you can layer the smaller ones, like come back through and layer the smaller ones on top, I think might be the better approach, but I'm still having fun at kind of experimenting. It's almost a shark fin. But I'm knocking over glue sticks over there. All right, let's see what we have here. I want to put another one of these in. I really like this nice blue. What did I just knock into the trash can? My face poking through over there. All right. Oh, yeah. We have some nice like white pieces too, which I think could add some nice little bits. We have the weight of the canvas, but I really do want to kind of bury a lot of that. Ooh, look at, there's a little piece that fits. Let's put a little more of these little pink wispy pieces in a moment. Let's do some of these. Layer the denim color in. Where do I want it? lot of really neat colors in here. I should probably throw some greens in here, huh? Yeah, let's get a little green in here too. This is what? Notion Appletini. Great name. I love looking at the names of colors and things. So with this one, I might just stick with some really small flecks. See if we can get some little small chunks in here to fill some of these gaps in. And I think in a lot of instances, it really doesn't matter if you're using the front or the back. Like, you can always decide what looks better on your, you know, for your texture or your design. Does it look okay to have, ooh, that pink and green look really nice together. All right, let's see. Let's throw one of these bigger pieces down again, right on top. Oops. Let's throw this guy this way. Sticky glue. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing for me. I'm always like trying to pick things up as I go, and I think that's just the mom in me more than anything. It's kind of cool with little kids. They can often just go, let go, make the mess, worry about the rest later, right? And trying to remember the kid aspect sometimes when I'm doing stuff is an important exercise in actual creativity. I learn so much from kids and how they do things. Ooh, yeah. Oh, I like this. Okay, hold on. I want to glue down this bit here. So with a lot of these longer pieces that I laid down earlier, I only glued like one side or a middle, and that's allowing me to kind of go back in and pick up edges and layer, you know, I can layer it back over some, or break it off and layer it back over the top of some of the new pieces that I'm putting down, which is really neat. I like that. So it's kind of like, look, it's almost like we're looking down on a pool that you know, somebody threw a stone into the middle and then the circles radiate out, which is kind of cool. I like that. All right, let's do this. Lay this one right over here. So while it's laying on top, some of my other colors are still showing through. What do we have here? Ooh, another peachy. Let's try this guy. Right here. Hot glue. And it's funny, like sometimes you just have to give something time to form. Like it might not look great. Like you might look at it 10 minutes in and say, oh, this is a disaster. But I encourage you to give it time. Sometimes it's just a matter of working with things and layering things up before they really start to take on their beauty. And I think give it a chance, you know. And you can start like filling stuff in like that, and it really starts to get kind of magical. I'm excited about this. When I was in high school, I had an art teacher who was kind of a curmudgeon, Mr. Larry Williamson. He was fantastic, and I learned so much from him. But he was kind of a grumpy old man. We used to call him Papa Smurf because he was very Papa Smurf-like, and in both appearance and voice. And but he used to say stuff like, like get out of your own way and sometimes just let it happen. Don't force it. But he used to also say, like, stand back and like listen to it. What does it want you to do? Kind of like listening to your art piece and letting it guide you somehow. I don't know, if you're not into that kind of thing, that's okay. But yeah, I always like that, just kind of like sometimes you got to stand back and look at it and go, okay, what does it need? What does it want? What do I have to work with? And kind of put that all together in that way, which is kind of cool. Listening to your artwork. And I know a lot of you that watch this, watch our little show, are very creative people. We have a lot of folks out there that create stuff too, whether with your kids or, you sell your own work. If you make stuff, I would love for you to share it with us. I'm always happy to share a link to whatever it is you're making, or if you want to post your family-friendly photos in our comments line. We love sharing that stuff, and I feel like we have a really supportive community of people who love seeing what you're working on as well. And if you've got little ones, often it's very encouraging to see, to share what they're working on. And that's one of the reasons I love our, we're working on that sort of a new format for the giveaway, the weekly giveaway, where we can actually post every single one in the gallery so that folks can see their entries and, comment on them. Only kind comments we encourage. We don't have tolerance for not kind comments. We don't see a lot of not kind comments, but they happen every now and then. It is the internet, after all, right? But yeah, we really try to monitor those and keep it nice. All right, really, I'm liking the way that it's layering up. I think it's kind of cool. Ow. that one kind of hurt. Oh man. All right, let's see. Crystal with the 5 cats and a dog. Yeah, we're gonna have to feature all of them at some point. We'll see if we can get everybody in for a little show and tell, a little family show. Do you have pets? Anybody watching have pets? What are your pets' names? Do you have pet photos that you want to share? I love pet photos. I think pets are great. We love pets. But yeah, all of our pets have been rescued in some way or other. I think Adrian was the only one that was not. He came to us from a friend whose cat had kittens. But Rocky was from a batch of feral cats that were wild, out in the wild. And I guess that's what a feral cat is. Arthur was actually discovered in the engine compartment of a worker that works at the manufacturing shop 2 doors down from us. They found this cat in the engine compartment of her car after she had just been driving like 80 miles an hour on the freeway for a half an hour to get to work. And then she got out of her car at work and heard this meow, meow, meow. And, and then looked everywhere on her car and could not figure out where this meow was coming from. And so one of the guys from the shop went out and, started to help her look. And he's like, I hear it coming from the engine compartment. And he's like, I'm afraid to open this because who knows what we're going to see. Don't worry, it's a good ending. They opened the hood, and on the hot engine, near the hot engine, was little Arthur, this adorable little tiny black kitten who was only about 8 weeks old at the time. And they thought that the cat might have climbed into her car where she lives. And so they took the kitten home, my sister and I, who were working in our ship shop at the time, we took the little kitten for the day to just kind of care for it. We bought it litter and food, but they took the cat home with her and asked their neighbors if anybody had lost a cat, if they were missing, and nobody claimed this little black kitten. So I told them if they didn't find a home for it, we would take it because it was going to be our third cat. So that was how we ended up with Arthur. Nobody claimed little Arthur, and so we were like, we'll take him. Our two cats had a brother. I mean, Rocky and Adrian had a brother, just like that. And so I thought that was pretty awesome. And then our next one, it's interesting because Peepa and Truman kind of overlap. Truman is older than Peepa, but we actually brought Peepa home before we brought Truman home. And they were both discovered, not at the same time. We have a bunch of feral cats outside our office, our Picture This Clothing office. And so Ken works with Julie. Julie, shout out if you're watching. I know you watch these sometimes. Julie is absolutely amazing. And anyway, they do trap and release, so Ken helps with that a lot. I wish that I could say that I helped as much as they do. I end up being a foster fail. With Ken, we try to help catch and release these cats, and then we fall in love with them and end up with, 5 cats at home and a puppy. So we suck at that part of it, the release part. We suck at the release part. We just want to keep them all. We love them. They're so easy to fall in love with. So anyway, but yeah, so there's like a community of folks who do trap and release, and we try to help and provide food and stuff like that, and try to get these kitties from reproducing. So the trap and release is you trap them and you get them spayed or neutered, and then you release them, because most of them in the feral cats, most of them are not domesticated. Like they won't take well to a home. If for whatever reason the ones that are captured are able to be put in a foster home or homed with a family that will love them and take good care of them, then that's what happens. But often the cats they're not like family pet material often. So often they go back out on the street, but then they're spayed or neutered when they go back out, so that they're not reproducing and perpetuating, the feral cat problem. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's how we've ended up with so many cats. We love them, we love them, we love them. All right, let's see. Still going here. All right, I think I'm getting ready though. I'm getting closer here to where I'm going to put my little shark on. I just want to fill a few more gaps. A few more little gaps here. Put some white pieces. Even though I'm trying to fill the white canvas gaps, I actually really like the fabric, the white fabric kind of being layered on here. Ooh. The more that I layer, the more that I want to keep layering, because it's really quite pretty when it's stacked up. Like when it starts, it's so neat. I don't know if you can get a look at that. You're going to see all my sloppy glue, but it's really starting to build a wonderful texture. And what I love about when we print these things later, once it becomes a design that we print, then all the textures really get magnified through the print process. It gets scaled up from the little template size that we have over here. It gets scaled up. You design it at that size, it gets scaled up and amplified, basically magnified to a larger size, and that looks really, really, really cool. I really love this one. I want to put more of this one down. Be careful where I set my glue. lot of these little overlapping things. It's starting to feel like kind of an interesting flower in itself, more than waves, but that's okay. I'm rolling with it. This one feels too close to the gray. I don't want to use that one. Let's go with some yellow again. The green, actually. Let's get some more green in here. Green will be a nice contrast, I think. I need to position these before I put the glue on them, huh? Decide where they're gonna go. All right. I want to get a little more pink in here too. I love the pink. The pink makes me happy. A little over there. And let's see. Do another big pink one. Oh, I've got fibers all stuck to the end here. All right. I look like I'm just waving my arm around, but there's seriously glue strings. Glue strings everywhere. All right. All right. If you have not or are not familiar with the work of Xenobia Bailey, I encourage you to explore the links that I posted. Check out the video if you didn't see it when I played it. And really look through her catalog of work. It's really spectacular and really inspiring. You know, you can find inspiration anywhere if you are willing to look around. And I think, ooh, that one's neat, too dark. Anyway, I think that, you know, inspiration is anywhere if you look for it. And I encourage you to share, you know, if you have inspiration, somebody or something that inspires you, an artist, artwork that inspires you, too dark, then please share it with us. Like, we love learning about new artists or artists that we may not be familiar with. We love featuring artists. Let's see. No. Let's get back to some green here. Throw a few more green bits in here. I think we need some green over here. If I go green right on top of there. That's the spot. Yeah, like that. And slide that around a little. I keep sliding on my seat too. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's like sliding forward on my seat. Embarrassing sounds with Jaimee. Anyway. All right, let's see. I need another little piece over here. We get some yellows back in here too in a minute. Anyway, let's see how our shark will look if we put our shark on here. All right, I'm gonna move his mouth and his eyeballs and just try to mess around a little bit here. Eyeballs, look at his little mouth. It's so funny. Okay, let's just see. First of all, let's try this dress template. I wanna kind of look and see how we're doing. Oh, that's pretty sweet. I'm gonna turn it. That's a cool thing. The more of your canvas that you have covered, you can kind of experiment. Now, if I wanted to, like, you know, I talked about making a focal point, so the kind of the concentric circles would work up there. Now, here's the fantastic thing that you can do. Let's find a color or a texture that we like, maybe two. Something. I mean, you could go with, like, let's say the concept of a sky, right? Let's see, I want to really think about this for a second. Let's do something solid like this. So maybe you end up doing something like this to kind of add some balance, right? Like a solid sort of piece. And then we have all of our, like, kind of craziness that goes down here. I kind of like that. And, you know, just given the shape, there's, we're kind of limited in how it works, but I sort of like that cutting across line like that. All right. So you can kind of work with something like that. I can see some holes that I'll want to fill before I call it a day for sure. Let's just do a couple of those. While we're here, while we're at it, let's add a couple. Like so. And then I want to start layering my shark, and I just moved my pieces. I left the paper on the back of my sharks too. I wanted to tell you that when I was cutting out those pieces that, you know, I used the shark printout, which I have a link to in my notes, the one that I used. I cut him out, and I cut out each color, like color block, as a different shape. So this top part here is this piece. The middle blue is right there, that middle piece. And then it works together like a puzzle, so like this. And then the lighter blue, I used kind of a lighter gray. And I used 3 different shades of gray, 3 different textures, more importantly. So I'm gonna start to fit him together because it's our Shark Week theme, right? So let's see how he fits over here in this kind of my funky shark. Yeah, something like that. So I'll want to glue him down once I am kind of sure of his placement. Now, something that you can do too, if you really want to give him some distance from, you know, the background, is you can glue him onto some cardboard or some cardstock and assemble him there first, then cut him out again and place him on, and he'll really have, you know, some distance and dimension. I am going to go ahead and just put him right on here, just to play with that texture. I kind of like how it is. Now I end up covering a lot of this. Let me go like this for a second. I want to play with my placement a little before I glue him down. All right, because maybe I really love some of the pinks and swirls and stuff. Maybe he is more like this. Yeah, I'm kind of liking that a little bit better. And then this we can work with still in a different way. Let's see. Like this. Let's move. What should we name this shark? Sherman? Sherman the shark? Does he look like a Sherman? Yeah, why not? Sherman the shark. All right, and then remember, anything on or outside the gray outline is going to get cut off. So we don't want any of the Sherman the shark elements to get cut off. So I'm going to make sure that he lands inside. I'll go like this. I want to place him down first, all of his little bits here. Now see, his dorsal fin will get cut off if I leave him right there. So I want to position him over just a little. The dorsal fin on a shark is almost the most important part, right? The dorsal fin and the giant teeth. Depending on the shark, perhaps. All right, so I always think of like great white shark, but yeah, there are other kinds of sharks. Like a hammerhead shark I saw on one of our design entries, which I will be uploading all of the design entries. Don't forget, if you're entering this week's design challenge and giveaway for your chance to win a gift certificate, picture this clothing gift certificate, get your entries in by midnight tomorrow. Wait, Friday. Yes, tomorrow. All right. I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't know about you, but I'm having a hard time with days anymore. I know that I do these live broadcasts on Thursday and Sunday and Tuesday. I can't even say them in order. That's how together I am. All right, so look at that. We've got this coming together, this little shark and his bits. All right, shark bits coming together. I'm gonna glue that down. Oh, he's coming off of his paper a little bit, and that's okay. The paper just gives him a little bit of distance. All right, now I know I want some other pink bits in here. I love the pink. Maybe green up here too. Can do stuff like this. You know, really start playing around with how those lay out. Ooh, what about an orange one too? It's gonna start looking like a 70s sofa here in a second, but look at you can kind of play with that. Now, he doesn't fully look like a shark layered just yet. And that might be where, you know, you play around with the contrast and the things that are behind him. Like we could always layer in more stuff around the edges of Sherman the shark. Like this. Give him a little white outline. Ooh, I might do that. All right, so Sherman the shark's coming along. He's coming along. I want to see what his eyes look like. I'll give him one large pupil and one not large pupil. He's got a tiny one and a not tiny one. All right, let's see what we have here. I'm going to glue Sherman's eyes on. One over here and one over here. All right, Sherman the shark. Sherman the shark. All right, and then this mouth, I'm still not 100% sure I love this mouth. So something I could do, no, I do love it. I do. I actually do love it. Okay, so again, I'd cut out his mouth here. I glued it to the back of the paper. And the first time I did it, I actually glued it the wrong way. I glued it with the picture facing me. And that would work too. I could actually just use that, like that, where it's got the picture on it. But I like creating my own work, not using somebody else's. So I'm using theirs as a guide, as a template, but I want to really create my own individual one-of-a-kind piece here. I always encourage that. And so what I'm going to do first, I'm going to glue down the red part of the mouth wherever we want it to go. Now this might be too close to this, and so I might end up changing that out just because it looks a little like, I don't know, different. Anyway, so let's just glue Sherman's mouth on for him. See how his mouth goes. All right, Sherman. And placement can be, you know, it doesn't have to be exactly like what we see here. This can go anywhere we need it to. And you'll see also Sherman has like a darker fin here and like a little underbelly here. You're welcome to play with that. Like, you know, something like that, we could find that texture that we used up here. Maybe if we're lucky, if we stay organized, we could do that and then bring it back down here, you know, so that it's got that similar callback to the, you know, the colors that were used here. Gives them a little bit of depth and dimension. You could even cut that one off if you wanted. I'm gonna leave Sherman's, the way we have Sherman right now. I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna go like this and Sherman the shark. And I am gonna play with outlining him a little bit because I want him to stand out from the background a little bit more. So in order to do that, oh wait, I forgot his teeth. Don't forget his teeth. Let me look at his teeth again, see if his teeth are good or if they need to be trimmed a little bit. I think his teeth are pretty good. Okay, and then if I'm using this color as his teeth, is that the same color, the right color, to make his background stand out, or to make him stand out from the background? All these thoughts and questions that I have going through my mind. Sometimes you don't have an answer until you just try it and see what happens, right? Experiment, play. Maybe I'll try some of this more beige. What does that look like if I give him a little more of a beige background? No, I like this one. I like this one. Yellow. We have so many funny colors. Okay, let's see. Maybe Sherman needs more of a yellow background. All right. Anyway, you can play with that. You can kind of get the gist of what's happening here, right? All right. I know that you can. You can see what's happening. Yep. I'm going to just layer a couple more things in here. So before you're completely done, you want to, you know, just make sure it's the layout that you want. Fill any gaps that you see. I'm going to lift my template off, fill a couple more gaps before we call this design done. I do want to just make sure that I have all the pieces that I want. Let me see. I really like the blues on top, but with the green too. And then let me get another pink over here. All right, let's see what we have. Go like nestle it down in. All right, hold on. My chair. All right. Yeah. Let's do a smaller piece here. So he's starting to get a little bit more of a shape there, where we can see Sherman standing out from the background a little with that white outline. And that is actually, you know, if you have like I was saying, you could put him on some cardstock or something and actually leave a little bit of a white outline, or if you're using cardboard, leave a little bit of the outline behind him, and it'll help him stand out. And I think that could be a great way to resolve if you're concerned about him blending too much in the background, which I am. I don't want him to get lost in the background. I want him to stand out and shine. Shine, little Sherman, shine. That's right. And so I can kind of build a little outline using these pieces that I have here for Sherman the Shark. Let's see what we have. Let's do that. Let's just finish that out while we're here. Do a little one. Finish Sherman the Shark. So we can kind of have a nice little design that I can take back to the shop and print, share at some point with you. Okay, I'm going to tuck this one in. That one went a little funny. That's all right. So, but you can see him starting to, he was receding into the background, and now he's starting to stand out and, stand on his own, little Sherman the Shark. Let's get a little piece for right behind his dorsal fin. Gotta get that dorsal fin standing out. But what a fun activity this is, and I want to, I'm really grateful for the inspiration of Xenobia Bailey, and what I learned by looking at her artwork today, with the use of color and textile, and like she said, making something from nothing, something that maybe people have discarded or don't want anymore. Look around you, find stuff, and it's neat because you can find your voice this way with practice and just creating. I think creativity is one of the most magical things in the world, and I love it. All right, I'm gonna cut a little tiny piece there. I kind of like how this looks, guys. This is fun. All right, we'll go like that, and let's do another little piece over here. Lift up his tail a little bit. Yep. Right, and let's see what we have here. I'm trying every time I set the glue gun down not to set it on its little, on its glue cord. Let's see, we need to go, that one went a little funny, but I'll add another piece here. Do this. I kind of like that. I love the layered textures, So let me put this down here, then I'll glue it. The bottom one first, and then his little gray piece there. Look at Sherman. All right, and we need just a little bit more here, huh? Yes, we do. Let's go like this. Again, don't be afraid to layer that stuff up. I really like the way it looks all layered. Ouch. Little fins. All right. Okay. Oh my goodness. Look at Sherman the Shark. I think that's pretty cool. Now, if you want, something I had done earlier was I used a pencil to draw some teeth on the fabric. I think I ended up getting rid of that piece because it didn't fit. Yeah, and I probably glued it down now. Anyway, that is an option that you can do is, you can use a pencil and draw on some of the fabric if you wanted like little zigzaggy teeth in there. I don't know if it's going to work super well on this top part. It's kind of working. There we go. A little bit, right? All right, and then I still have a few little blank spaces over here that I want to fill in just to make sure my edges are like good. Make sure our edges are good before I take my final photo to upload at picturethisclothing.com, right? And again, we're just creating. You probably, you don't want to order it as clothes if you don't love it. So make sure that's the beauty of the Picture This Clothing templates is you print as many, design as many as you want until you get exactly what you want. And, because you want to make something you love. Kids want to make something they love, that they're proud of. They can have their one-of-a-kind magical piece. All right, I know I have more pink down here. I want another little pink piece right over there. Again, being mindful not to set my glue gun on the glue stick. The long, super long. So I learned that if I could just set the body of it, it doesn't melt the glue. But if that little hot end lands on there, it's all over. All right, I'm going to bring this back. Now, we always say, whether you're creating something for the giveaway, which there's no purchase necessary. If you're creating for the giveaway, all you want to do is we say design and sign. So you design, and then you want to be sure to sign nice and clearly your name down here where it says designed by. So mine's going to be designed by Jaimee. That's me. Jaimee. And then I'm going to go like this and lay that template right on top of there. All right. Interesting. Okay. So there's our Sherman the Shark design that, I'll say inspired by Zenovia Bailey. I'm sorry, I just blanked for a second. We've done so many artists, and sometimes I just, we've done so many artists in the past few months, and it's very exciting, and I get excited to learn about new artists. Anyway, this is inspired by the fabric and textile work of Xenobia Bailey, and we used our theme of the week, which is sharks, because we are preparing for Shark Week next week, and we want to have things to wear. I think I might be wearing this. So if you're going to enter, you want to print your free templates from picturethisclothing.com. You want to design and sign, and then you want to get your smartphone ready, and then you will snap a great well-lit photo. So you can see here, I've got my name. You can see my name in the frame. You can see the entire design in the frame. It's well-lit. And I always take a few. Sometimes I get a little closer, just in case. A little further, just in case. Take a few, especially if you're using objects like this. Mine are all glued down pretty well. Let's do one other thing real quick here, just in case this works. Okay, now. Oh, look, guys. Yay! We have a Sherman the Shark shirt as well. So, design and sign. Jaimee. That's me. All right, and then do the same thing. We're going to take a smartphone photo. Make sure that we get the whole design in there. Take a couple shots. Make sure you're not cropping off any of the sleeve. None of the design gets cut off. I'm very excited about this. And make sure your name is in there because that gets printed inside the hem. And then if you're entering the weekly giveaway, you're going to email that smartphone photo to me, 1 entry per email per person. If you have multiple kids and only 1 email address, that's fine. Just email them separately to me. And it's hello@picturethisclothing.com. You want to get those entries into me by midnight on Friday the 7th, which is tomorrow if you're watching this. So that brings us to the wonderful close of today's experimental live stream, where we have designed Sherman the Shark. All right. So I'm going to say goodbye. I want to... 2 things. We do our live giveaway on Sunday. So Sunday we'll be doing the giveaway. Crystal says, love the finished product. Thank you, Crystal. Thanks for sticking with me on that. I was not sure where that was going to go, but I have to say I'm very happy with how it turned out. I like it. I'm going to print this one and see how it turns out. Maybe I'll wear that on Sunday. And then Sunday, August 16th. That's a week from this coming Sunday, is a very special day for us. It will be our 4-year birthday. We will be 4 years old as a company. And so we want to do something special. We haven't quite figured out what it is because I swear every day we're flying by the seat of our pants, but we'll use our imagination and we'll come up with something great, and we hope that you can join us. So I will see you Sunday with a winner of the weekly challenge. It is a random drawing. We have a lot of entries this week. So get your entry in, have a chance to win that gift certificate, and then you can bring it to life. All right? All right, likes and shares. We love you. Thank you. I'll see you Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Oh, thank you. And then goodbye.